right, we are officially recording now.
Are you sure?
I am.
All right.
Well, we only lost a minute there.
Jeez.
So, see? Now,
Nice.
Now, I'm like, why is it?
Take 3.
Take 3. All right, so here with Nate. Nate's one of the guys I work with in IT services. You are in your 30s?
I am in my mid-30s.
Mid-30s. You're currently separated, waiting on a divorce?
Separated for almost a year as of the 27th of next month, which I can finally file and start getting ready to actually be free again.
Couple of kids?
2 kids, 5 and 8, 2 girls. And yeah, it's a tough one there. Never expected this to happen. Pretty much high school sweetheart, so started way too soon. Yeah, just a whole lot of family stuff that leads me to where I am today. Whereas, I had expectations set for me by family, church, peers. Whereas, I was.
So you're a sucker for social pressure for.
I was. It took me this long to figure out that I can actually make decisions on my own. Unfortunately. Well, fortunately, I have my
peer
kids.
pressure. That's the word I was looking for.
Well,
peer pressure.
It's not even so much peer pressure as much as you grow up a certain way. You watch your parents do certain things,
mm-hmm.
and that just becomes your norm. So that's kind of what I followed. I mean, my parents got married younger and expected their kids to not necessarily get married younger, but I was the kid that I was going to wait till I was married to have sex, and up until
good Christian child.
Yes, and I can say my wife was my first, and I was her first, and so we had that going for us. Or at least I thought so. But it just when you get married young, sometimes it's hit or miss. Some people get lucky and find that one person that they want to spend the rest of your life with. And some of us get married and realize, OMG, what have I done? And sometimes it takes a little while to get there.
That's a crazy bitch right there.
She never got crazy. It's
no?
just I want to say we lost that love and feeling, but I don't think we ever had it. It was just comfortable. It was kind of like I am at my job here. Okay. It's just, it's going to take me a couple years to realize, what, this is not the marriage that I should be in. And fortunately with the job, I'm not going to have kids, but unfortunately, I got to put the kids through this rigmarole.
Yeah.
So love my girls. Don't regret them one bit. They're amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to have to go through some stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's all the decisions you made. It's all the good decisions and the bad decisions that make you who you are. So.
Yeah.
All right. So you're mid-30s, married, separated, 2
married
kids.
Children, separated.
Married. What when you're filling out paperwork, what do you put as your racial?
I've always put other, unless I thought I can get like the scholarship for black.
Okay. Damn it! Why didn't I think of that?
I got my scholarship at UVA.
Okay.
African American scholarship. Because I am mixed, so they say just a small percentage of a race means you can claim that race. So for my dad, actually both my dad and mom's side both have some African American. My dad's mostly American Indian, so I could have went either way with the scholarship on that.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, our American Indian the primary just got recognized by the government a couple years back. So
the tribe.
The tribe is Shinnecock, which I always grew up I thought it was Shittycock, but it's actually Shinnecock.
Shinnecock, okay.
Which is a lot better than telling people that you're part of the Shittycock tribe.
That just means you've been to prison. That's all.
No, really, it's a real thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
That's what my dad told me.
Where are they at? Where?
Couldn't tell you. It's I have to look it up, honestly.
Probably getting their ass kicked by the Cherokee and
probably
Iroquois.
I think it's Northeast.
Okay.
But yeah, we didn't really affiliate or learn too much about it. It was just a thing because I'm so incredibly mixed that it was like there was no identifying with one race or anything.
Right.
Because my mom is South American from Paramaribo's Suriname, but she's also, that's a fun word to say.
Yeah.
Not many people can say it right.
Now, why do you say it with an accent?
Because it sounds that I hate when people don't use the accent because it just sounds so white.
Well, like I have an issue with there's a newscaster here, and I don't know what her name is offhand. If it's Rodriguez, okay, your name is Sarah Rodriguez. Okay, fine, your name is Sarah Rodriguez, but she doesn't say it. She'll be talking just like this.
Yeah.
On the report, and then when she says her name, my name is Sarah Rodriguez.
Sarah Rodriguez.
Where the hell did the accent come from?
And what's funny is I hate when people do it too.
So, but yeah, you do.
But I do it.
Okay, all right.
Only for Paramaribo.
Okay.
Because when I hear it, it's Paramaribo, and it's just like, no, that's Paramaribo.
Okay. So if I say Paramaribo, people are going to know what I'm talking about?
I doubt it, because not many people even know where Suriname is.
Well, I've heard the name. I actually thought it was in Asia.
Nah, definitely not.
Okay. My geography sucks.
Yeah, it's small. South American.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. I hate when people, especially the soon-to-be ex-wife, her Spanish comes out only with certain words, and I'm like, you won't teach the kids Spanish, but with that word, it'll be a nice little accent on there.
So she knows Spanish pretty well.
She's fluent.
Okay, so she calls you every name in the book when she's talking really, really fast. Kind of thing?
That was one of our issues in our marriage, is that I've always wanted to learn more. I mean, I took 2 years Spanish in high school, 2 years in college, and I was like, let's speak Spanish. I want to teach the kids Spanish, and I can learn better if you speak to me in Spanish. So we've been married for 12 years, and it's like in 12 years in the house, I think I spoke more Spanish than she did.
Okay.
And now my kids, being 5 and 8, probably know about as much Spanish as the rest of the kids in their classes, because of what they learn in kindergarten and sometimes first grade.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was always a fight that we've had. But yeah, so and in the same way, my mom is very, she regrets and is upset with herself for never teaching us her language, which is Dutch, and then one of the dialects is Taki Taki.
Taki.
Is
okay.
It's like their slang.
Okay.
It's a little bit rougher of the Dutch language.
Okay.
But it's like when you get married and one person speaks the language and the other one doesn't. It's like you got to teach the person something, because that's something my dad had to go through. And when they're around their family and they're speaking their language, they're talking about you. Know what they're saying, but when you get that sly eye looking straight at you, you're like, you mother, ooh. And that's life, because that's the way it was. And it's crazy. I don't even know what we were talking about, how I got here, but
we were talking about your background, your cultural and your racial heritage.
So yeah, very, very mixed. Which is great and sucks at the same time. Mainly because I can't identify with one culture. I have fun with all of them. I mean, I'm an equal opportunity, I don't want to say bigot, but
equal opportunity offender /
I just have fun with it, because you can use anything, and more than likely you're offending me, unless you're talking about Asians or something like that.
Well, we're only offending you if you're up for being offended, if you're looking to be offended.
True. So growing up like that is difficult, because I can't identify. The black people can't identify with me because I'm light skinned. White people don't want to identify with me because I'm brown.
You're not. Yeah, I was gonna say you're not that light skinned. I mean, you could definitely pass off as maybe light skinned black or Puerto Rican, but
when you grew up, military brat, so we moved all over the place. But like in Yorktown, Virginia, down towards Virginia Beach, there's a strong black population, and I was too light skinned for that population. So, I walked around the high schools, and I'll never forget. I was walking down a hallway, and a group of black guys in the corner and I walked by them and said, "Oh, why you got your butt so tight? You ain't white." And so I always remember that. And I mean, people know me now. That's the last thing I will say, because my butt is so big that it's a beautiful thing.
Okay.
It is.
Okay. All right.
I can't say that around my mom. I said that around my mom this weekend, and she was like, "You shouldn't talk bad about your body." And I was like, "Mom, I love my butt." is huge.
It's
Good. I can do stuff with it.
I'm just trying to understand that particular statement. I have no idea where that would even come from.
About my butt or
yeah,
your butt so tight.
Because
it's just one of those things. It's
okay. It must be a regional thing because it wasn't anything like that.
I was walking too upright and being too.
Oh, you didn't have your swagger?
I didn't. I wasn't walking apparently with air quotes since we're on the radio. I wasn't walking ghetto enough, I guess.
Oh, you're not black enough.
I wasn't black enough.
Okay.
But at the same time, I wasn't white enough either because we weren't well off or anything like that. So it was like, who do you identify with? I actually have had and still have more white friends than black friends. Although it's evening out because as you grow older, a lot of the stereotypes and stuff start to diminish a little bit more with the groups that you hang out with. Now, I'm not saying they will completely be gone, but people, in my experience, are a little bit more tolerable than when you're younger, and people will say whatever the hell they want.
Right, yeah. Well, as an adults, because we know, 90% of it is a joke.
Sure.
You know, I mean, that's like me. When I start talking like white bread and mayonnaise, I mean, I'm a white guy who's trying to talk like a white guy.
Right.
It makes no sense at all. But, you know, I contrary to popular belief, I do have a little bit of rhythm.
Sure. We've seen it at work.
I can dance a little bit if you get me drunk enough. And
you definitely speak like a black woman. You got your inner black woman, which is good.
I am. I'm an inner black. I got the moves for that.
Your verse
but at the same time, you know, I want to say generally as adults, we don't take it as serious. We don't take it seriously because it's not necessarily true. It's just something to kind of poke fun at.
Well, I think it's also a knowing your audience. Like,
that's true.
Within our IT crowd here, when we're at work, we're all tolerable to all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know you can walk outside of work and say some of the stuff that we say at work when we're joking around with each other, and adults, will become extremely offended quickly. So it's knowing your audience and knowing who you can joke around with.
Well, that's just it, though. I've always been in a group where we can joke.
Sure.
And, I mean, as long as it is a joke, because, you know, if you get serious and you start calling people names in the heat of an argument or something, obviously that's a little different.
Sure.
But I've always thought most people can talk like that around their, I don't want to say circle of friends, but, you know, their circle of friends.
Sure.
Or their circle of coworkers who know them.
I think everybody's got a line, though.
Okay. Even when you're joking? Even when the intent is not to provoke, but to, I don't know, not necessarily poke fun at, but, you know, like white people aren't exactly known for the rhythm.
Yeah.
You go ahead and poke fun at that all you want to. You can go ahead and poke fun at well, okay, here's one for you. Black guys, and since you're the closest one here, you're going to be representing it's a stereotype that black guys have big dicks.
It's not really a stereotype, though.
Well, you know, I don't want to brag.
Let's be honest. 9 out of 10.
I don't know.
You haven't seen your share of dicks?
No. In EMS, if we check for an injury, it's not there. We cover it back up because I don't want to see that.
That's true. I don't either.
And most people don't like being uncovered anyway.
I'm just going by my family. I know.
I've seen my family jewels, and we're almost broke. So I mean, granted, I'm Irish, and I got the Irish curse, but then that gives me the leeway to go around and say I'm half black.
There you go.
I mean,
the good half.
And 99 times out of 100, nobody wants me to prove it.
Right.
The problem comes around when that one weirdo wants me to prove it, and that's kind of no. I'll just.
And then you'd be like, I just got bad credit.
Yeah.
That's my half that I got. What'd you think I was talking about?
Bad credit. Okay, there's yet another stereotype, but yet we can joke about it here.
Sure.
But if we go out out into the world, and it's just me and you talking, and someone overhears it, are they going to get pissed? Okay? If you were to overhear that statement, someone else.
If it were a group of white people
Mhm.
joking about it, I think it would be misconstrued. It would be bad.
It would be an issue. I can see that.
But I mean, like I said, everybody has their line. So even in our group, say we're joking around, and all of a sudden, one of our coworkers decides to drop the N-bomb and be like, "Ha ha, nigga, please," and it was white. Although I may not be as offended as the next person, somebody in the group is going to be offended because, I mean, that's current events with Obama now, dropping N-bombs and trying to.
What about thug? Can I say thug?
Depends. Are you
a
you a senator or something? I mean, because.
Well, I mean, obviously that's a loaded word.
I don't see anything wrong with it. If you're a thug, you're a thug.
Well, I was referring to dropping the N-bomb. It's a loaded word. It's still, I don't want to say it's fresh, but it's still fresh. And then that goes to, okay, it's okay for one culture to say it, but not another. And I get that it is. And it depends on how it's used, because no one can say they haven't said it. I don't think there's anybody in this world that hasn't said they can say it, except for maybe Mark Furman.
But I also don't. I don't think thug is the same.
I'm not talking about thug
as N-bomb.
Okay, right.
So
I think that was just a media thing. In Baltimore.
Yeah, shiny penny.
Shit.
Trying to take people's minds off of what's really going down.
Shiny penny. What is that? Shiny penny thing?
Shiny penny squirrel.
Oh, okay.
Trying to
attention deficit. Ooh, shiny. Okay.
A little ADD action for everybody. He said thug.
Thug. Oh, I can't believe. Well, somebody's gonna get pissed off.
Somebody has to.
Well,
and I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
But those are the people that are looking to be offended, though.
Sure.
And the media certainly doesn't help. The media is trying, because they'll go off on Charleston, which is relatively recent, but that same weekend, 20 cats were killed. 20 cats. 20 guys in Chicago were killed.
Yeah.
20 black men maybe it was 19 or 20 black men in Chicago were killed that weekend.
Right. You
didn't hear anything about it. The assumption there would be, okay, well, that's because it's not racially motivated. And when Charleston happened, everybody jumped up and I mean, there are a lot of issues with Charleston, if only with the way the guy was arrested versus, the guys that were up in New York, or guy accused of killing 9 people, just pulled over to the side of the road, handcuffed. The guy up in New York City selling cigarettes, choked to death. So, I mean, it's like, what the fuck? Yeah, okay, anybody can see the difference there, but what the fuck?
Right.
And I had my ass handed to me last weekend. I just put a question out there, and I don't know if I talked to you about this or not. Talked to Rasan. Rasan looked at me like I was nuts. And Travis did too. The question I put out there was, can black people be racist?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Well,
they said no?
Apparently not.
What?
Yeah. Well,
racist against their own kind.
Well, that's just it.
When reverse racism.
When the hatred and the venom finally calmed down, I had somebody send me an explanation of why black people cannot be racist.
I'd love to see that.
Oh, I'll send it to you. And it was I read a couple of lines. I skimmed it. Basically, it was changing the word, the meaning of the word racism, because it went into the institutionalized racism, and things of that nature, which is a whole different. It's basically moving the goalpost, and it was just an asinine amount of and again, that's what this podcast is about: is asking the questions that either no one wants to ask, or no one's afraid to ask, or no one's thought to ask, or everyone's afraid to ask. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's issues like that. Like, it's just a simple question, because I figure, okay, racism is a mindset. I mean, almost. I'm not going to say it's an emotion, but it is definitely a mindset. It's a frame of thought.
Sure.
It doesn't. That doesn't matter what color you are, what race you are.
Yeah, I'm almost positive
Okay. Well, I just
that black people can be racist just like any other culture.
well,
that's just I guess that's just me. I
well,
won't be alone on that one.
well, no, everybody I've asked in person has said the same thing. So, there's obviously the fringe people that are looking to get offended, and then you have the fringe that are actually believing that no, they can't be just because of X, Y, or Z. Maybe the events in their life have led them to actually believe that. I don't know. I didn't really know these people. I mean, I think the first mistake is I put it out on Twitter.
There you go.
And Twitter is not known for its I guess meaningful questions.
No.
I mean, it's fine. People might have thought I was being an ass.
Yeah.
I was just asking a question. I wasn't trying.
Can black people be racist?
Can black people? And I mean, obviously, emotions were still charged because it was last weekend. So it was right after the Charleston shootings. So people were a little more amped up than normal, and that's understandable. But it took a while for that to die. I mean, it took a good 12 hours for the Twitter feed to just stop. And
looks like you asked the right question.
Well, that and it got into emotions because I started talking to somebody, actually having a conversation. I'm like, all right, well, there's a lot of emotional feedback going on right now, and of course, then he goes off on me, or she, whoever it was, went off on me for saying, okay, well, we can't. White people don't want to know this stuff unless they can remove all the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, there's a difference between having no emotion, being impassioned about it, and then having, being blinded by rage.
Right.
So
you see that with divorce a lot. Women are very emotional thinkers, whereas
vengeful.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, no, it's very parallel to what you're saying. It's just when someone's emotionally charged, they're not going to think as rationally as they could, and their answers will be strictly based on their emotion about what's happening in the moment.
Right.
So right now, I can't be racist because of what's happening in the world, because people are attacking our people. So no, I'm not racist. They're racist. But 3 weeks ago, I was saying kill Whitey. So I mean,
right.
That's pretty racist, I would think.
Well, see that gets you back into what's the difference between being a racist, being a bigot, and being prejudiced. I mean, there's definitely a scale there, or prism, if you want to, but definitely emotion is a big part of that. If you feel like you're under attack, you're gonna want to be wronged, especially in today's snowflake mentality, where if you sneeze on me wrong, then you have to pay me. Yeah. Kind of thing. And I don't mean to make light of it, but
made my coffee too hot. I want money.
Yeah. I mean, and the problem is, you're talking to somebody who's in an emotional state, you tell them to calm down and stop being emotional.
Oh, don't do that.
Exactly. It's just going to be that much worse. So if nothing else, I've learned to let it die down before.
I haven't learned that yet.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm still telling people to calm down, and I'm not getting a good response when I do that. Just simmer down now. Just it's fuel to the fire. It's never good.
Well, it was hard when I did it. Well, again, because nobody knows me. It's easy to talk about things where we work because we all know each other. We're all in the same room,
right? When
we talk, and we have an idea about everybody's background and where they're coming from. Whereas you throw it out on Twitter, you throw it out, on people who don't necessarily know you, or
right. I mean, you got your extremists.
Right. The problem, the question is, you figure 5% on either side are nut jobs, just straight up, and then another 5% are maybe the butthurt crowd that wants to get offended. So you're looking for that middle 80% ish that can have a conversation.
Yeah.
But then you've got people within that 80% that get too emotional.
Right, because the extremists are feeding them.
Right. So it's either, and that's what I'm trying to get to, is just what questions can I ask the normal people. So if you're not normal, stop listening. So you were saying growing up issues that you had, you were doing things that your family was doing, which is pretty much what everybody does.
Yeah.
You grow up doing whatever your parents do, or whoever's raising you.
Yeah. So
how did religion get into that? You and I have had some discussions on religion.
You know what? I have faith.
Okay.
So I've been learning more throughout the years that there's a difference between being religious and having faith.
What's the difference?
I don't know, but I'm learning.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to speak matter of factly when I'm still learning myself. So with that, we've talked about blind faith, and we've talked about different things like that. So I was raised with blind faith, and that was just a matter of, you're taught what you're taught. I mean, you can ask questions. You can ask questions, but we're not going to have all the answers. No one's going to have all the answers, so just be happy with what we give you and go with that. And so that's what I did. That's what I followed, and that's, that got me to where I am now, where, I was a model citizen. I was in the youth groups growing up, and I was talking to somebody recently, and we were talking about Beach Week and how crazy teens are and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, my beach week, I went with my youth group to a beach house at a beach where there was not a lot of people. So my beach week was totally lame. I think there was more Bible study than on the beach than there was drinking, because there was no drinking. So it was really lame. But that's kind of how I grew up. So, I wasn't one of those people that got to college and went crazy, because I was still scared of, especially my dad. So my dad became more of a man of faith, or it was more apparent later on. I grew up in slightly, what I would consider slightly abusive household.
Physically or mentally?
Both.
Okay.
And I actually had to talk with my dad about that a couple months back, because he didn't really know. Like I had a lot of stuff in my past that I kept sheltered, because that again drew into how I was raised.
You just don't talk about that stuff.
There's a lot of stuff you don't talk about. There's a lot of stuff that's swept under the rug. Just go on blind faith, and you'll be fine. And because of that, they never knew, my stint of, anorexia, my stint, the fact that I'm, even to this day, very self-conscious about my body. There was, a stint of cutting. There was, I had a lot of stuff going on in my life that has been, it's much better now. You grow up, you figure out that, again, it goes into, my blind faith turned into, more recently, hey, I can think for myself, and I need to actually search for my own answers with a lot of stuff, with religion, with myself, with all that, instead of trying to please my very Christian family. So, and family goes into, my church family as well, because it all plays a part, because you have to, essentially you have to try to uphold the values of the church. And when you walk in, everybody button up your shirts, put your ties on, you're the perfect family, at least for this hour. And that's kind of what happened with my marriage. For a lot of years, it was, button up your shirt, you're married. You may not be happy, but, you're supposed to be.
Right.
And so that's kind of, faith and family and all that was instilled in me at a young age. And thankfully now I'm to a point where, I'm breaking out. I still have my faith. But I'm finding my own way and kind of thinking for myself finally.
Okay.
So yeah. So
that's always a positive.
It is a positive. I think I'm going in a very good direction, and I'm finding myself being a lot happier than I've been in years.
Good.
Yeah. Good times.
Now, are you what religion were was your family growing up?
I was raised Baptist.
Okay.
There's different types of Baptists.
Oh, there's different types of Baptists. Okay.
There's Southern Baptists. There's not so Southern Baptists.
Were you allowed to dance?
We didn't do a lot of dancing, but I've been to a lot of the churches because we traveled so much, and being a military brat, I was all over the place, and we tried lots of different churches, and I've seen some stuff, man. I didn't know old ladies.
Were you handling snakes or something?
No snake handling, but I didn't know old ladies can move their feet that fast.
Oh, shucks.
They're dancing up and down the aisles, but
they was possessed.
They were something. that communion. No, yeah. So I was raised Baptist, and as we got older, things changed, and my family is non-denominational now, which I actually enjoy more because I feel like it's more literal as opposed to as opinionated as some of the other denominations can be. Obviously, it's all opinionated.
Well, yes and no.
Open to interpretation.
Yeah. The issue I have is not necessarily with faith, because the faith is between you and God, or you and whatever you decide to put faith in. But the problem I have with religion is the dogma, and it's nowhere in the Bible does it say that you're allowed to hate people or that you're allowed to discriminate against people.
Sure.
Well, I take that back. It does say in the Old Testament, it does say you got to stay away from the people that aren't godly.
Some of them also sometimes too.
But churches take that and they take it to mean whatever they want it to mean. So if you're Baptist, you can't hang around Catholics. If you're Catholics, you can't hang around with Presbyterians or Protestants or what have you.
And a lot of that depends on what church you're part of and who you're around. And again, they're the extremists.
Well,
because I was never brought up like that.
Mm-hmm.
So much.
So
there's other things that
maybe the fundamentalists.
Yeah.
Because I was brought up fundamentalist, and it was if you don't believe X, Y, and Z, then you're not worth our time.
No.
And the only good thing about that was that it literally did not matter what race you were, what your background was, what your culture was. It did not matter. As long as you believed the same thing, you were family.
Okay.
That's the one good thing that came out of my childhood.
So there's they're going to take the good with the bad in that situation.
Yeah. But it took me a long time and basically the urge. It basically took me to the edge of suicide.
Yeah.
To realize that everything my life had been based on was a lie. Because I came up doing my mom is a Baptist. She was one of them C&E Baptists, Christmas and Easter.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad, he was the fundamentalist. He was the one, you've got to go to church 3 times a week.
Mm.
He wouldn't let me do anything. He wouldn't let me do any. He wouldn't let me do anything competitive.
Really?
So I couldn't join sports teams. I couldn't, even in high school.
Does it say something in the Bible about that?
That goes back to dogma. It has something to do with, you don't want to be competitive. It's.
I haven't seen that verse.
Well, there's no verse that says it. It goes to their interpretation.
Right.
And it's just asinine. But that's how I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing in the Bible that says you can't jerk off. But yet, hey, 16, 17-year-old guy, I don't know about the chicks, but that's, you wake up, that's the first thing you do. That's probably the last thing you do before you go to sleep too. Well, I don't know about you. Okay, that was me. That was me. But
be tiring. Calluses.
Hey, well,
I got soft hands.
But as a teenager, you're going to jerk off. But then you'd go to church and you they'd say, well, self-abuse is is evil. Well, where's the Bible say that?
Well, there's a lot of it had to do with pornography.
Where's the Bible say that?
It does say it actually.
Well, does it? Pornography?
No, it doesn't say specifically pornography, but
I mean, because as a 16-year-old, you got a vivid imagination. All you need is the wind to blow, and you got a heart on.
That's true. That's just being a man. That's not.
Well, yeah, it's the hormone change.
Yeah, I do that now. But
wow, as a 35-year, I got to eat what you're eating. What are you?
Yeah. I have to sit down at my desk a lot. I'm serious. I'm glad.
That's why I used to carry a backpack everywhere.
I mean, I'm serious. Even now, I mean, you got the morning wood that goes to like noon.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, you might want to take a leak before you come to work.
Yeah, maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, just saying that prostate, man. You're getting up there now. You got to worry about that.
I don't know.
But yeah, I mean that's how I grew up. You do something that you think is natural, and yet you're an evil person for it. So that
Okay.
I'm already because kids, they already joke about, oh, you need to go jerk off or something. Jerking off is a bad thing,
right?
Even amongst your friends.
So the pornography then goes hand in hand with lust.
Okay.
Where it does say in the Bible, it talks about lust.
Right.
So that's where that comes from. as far as I know. Again,
Okay.
it's all up to interpretation. All up to
Right, but at 16, you're if it's has a hole in a heartbeat, you're lusting after it.
You know what? That goes with resisting temptation.
But you're not, because even Jesus said, if you've thought about it, you've already done it.
This is true.
So if you've already thought about it, you're already guilty.
Well, yes.
Because the first thing you when you see if you're straight, first thing you see is a woman, you're like, would you hit that? Yes, you would. No, you wouldn't. It's one or the other. It's it's one of the first things. It's been proven time and time again. So if you've already thought about it within the first 5 seconds, like, damn, she got some legs on her. I'd like to wrap that around my head. Whatever.
Sure.
So resisting temptation, yeah, you might think that's a hot chick and not have any, inkling of going up to her and asking her for a date or anything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you've already thought about what she's going to look like naked.
Okay.
So you're an evil person for that?
And no one says you're evil, though.
Oh, church? Okay, the fundamentalist side.
The fundamental. So we're talking about two different kinds of churches. Your church, to me.
Oh, it's not my church anymore.
Or your parent, or how you were raised.
My upbringing.
Church, your upbringing. I would run.
Well, yes, and
fast.
Anything fundamentalist, I would tell people to run
fast. Yeah,
because whether it's fundamentalist Christian or Islam or Judaism. Is it Judaism or Judaism? Judaism.
I think it's Judaism.
Judaism. Okay.
Judeo-Christian. Yeah.
So, anything fundamentalist.
So it's called sin. Sure. There's always repentance. There's forgiveness, and there's the fact that we all, as the Bible says, we've all sinned and fall short of the glory of God. So nobody is made to be evil because of sin. Sin is just human nature.
Okay. So why would, if it's our nature to sin, why do we have to ask for forgiveness? If it's in our nature, it's like, it's your nature to have dark skin. It's my nature to have light skin. It's my nature to have red hair. That's just as much a physical trait as the hormones going through our bodies, right?
But you have a choice to act on certain things.
Well, no, not even if you don't act on it, though, you're still guilty of it, right?
Right. But, they're the fundamentalists that will look at that and be like, as soon as I see one, I look up, I look away. I don't look straight at them, because of the thoughts that I could have. But, there's, I don't know how it works. I honestly don't know how it works. That's part of what I'm trying to figure out myself. Mm-hmm. Because I don't have all the answers.
Right.
There's tons of good questions you can ask about Christianity. Like, that's an excellent question.
Another question I have, and this one was more prominent when I came back into EMS, was dealing with. I dealt with a lot of people who were attempting suicide, who had committed suicide. Again, something that's evil according to fundamentalist churches. Mm-hmm. Some people were obviously mentally ill. Some people were in the middle of a medical issue as far as they'd been in constant pain for years, and that was what they decided was their way out.
Like medical suicide?
Well, no. I mean, I had to cut someone down. I guess the last one was about 2 years ago. She was early to mid 30s, and she was bedridden, mm-hmm. constant pain, and I guess the drugs just weren't doing anything. So she decided to take her own life, and it's like, okay, I cannot blame her for that. Mm-hmm. So, and people obviously have other issues that they decide that's their best way out of it. Mm-hmm. And I can say, okay, I can try and talk someone off the ledge. I can try and show them a different point of view, but how is it up to me to condemn somebody for doing that?
And I think that's where a lot of people's issue with religion comes, is they feel like they're being judged. They feel like they're being condemned. Mm-hmm. And some churches do that. Yeah. I said do.
You said do.
I did. Thank God.
You're so childish.
Forgive me, Lord. But so some churches do have exactly that. Mm-hmm. I don't believe in that. Okay. And I think that, to be in a good place in your life, you have to be able, to be in a good place in your faith, you have to be able to realize that it is not our job to condemn. It is not our job to tell somebody what you're doing is evil. All the Bible, in my opinion, is there for is a set of guidelines, mm-hmm. And it's something that to strive for. Nobody is going to be able to hit it on the head 100%. Mm-hmm. And so you do your best, and you keep your faith and you roll with it. But I think the bad name with Christianity and other religions, I can't speak for them, but is the fact that because my guideline says this and I see you doing it, you're evil.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to hell.
Mm-hmm.
And when people say that you're fundamentalist, it's given every other religion and every other person with faith a bad name. So if I come around my office where I work and say I'm Christian, immediately people are like, you know what, there's certain things I can't do around him because I don't want him to judge me. I don't want to feel like I'm judged around him. Automatically in my mind, I'm thinking that this is a guy that, he's going to be strict on this, that, and the other because that's how the fundamentalists think. That's how it's portrayed on TV.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that jazz. But people that know me know that I have, lots of gay friends.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my best friends are gay.
Mm-hmm.
In the Bible I read,
You're supposed to take them out and stone them.
There's a lot of things you're supposed to do.
Well, yeah.
Old Testament, New Testament, it depends.
Yeah.
But, in the Bible, according to certain verses, and again, everything's up for interpretation, it may call that evil. But at the same time, it also talks in the Bible that, one sin is not greater than the next sin. Mm-hmm. If you do consider that a sin.
So if I can tell the police officer that I don't have any idea why I'm being pulled over, and then I go and cheat on my wife and nail my next door neighbor, that's the same sin? That's awesome. Because that is worth a speeding ticket. No,
it doesn't necessarily mean you should go out and try to find, the worst sin and decide it's the same. It's just, there's not supposed to be levels.
Right.
You have your commandments that are, your fundamental, to follows.
You're right.
And then that's
actually the bedrock of most of the laws today.
Sure.
So
absolutely. But then there's a whole different subject of, taking Christianity out of the government. And so that'll change all sorts of things if that ever happens. Because, you have your core values, but then there's certain things that people don't agree with.
Well, it's kind of like taking God out of schools. I mean, okay, fine, take God out of schools, but you know what? As long as there's math tests, you're never going to take God out of schools.
You gotta pray for those.
There's not. There's no such thing as an atheist in a foxhole. And I can't say that I guess I would identify as a Christian, but I was also brought up as a fundamentalist to look at everything, look at other religions and point out, oh, they do this, they do that, they do this. Do the faults.
Sure.
But yet they didn't like it when you turned that looking glass around on them.
Oh, absolutely. And
that was a big part of that. Because I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you have tattoos, and which, again, tattoos is another thing.
It is.
I don't care if you have piercings, but yet the fundamentalist ideology is that if you have a tattoo, there's something wrong with you.
Well, it goes to, your body's your temple, and you shouldn't destroy your temple. And I have earrings. I had nipple rings for a while.
Okay, I am getting uncomfortable.
Hey, but you liked them. You liked it a bit. Twice, actually. I had them in college, and then I had them again as... about 2 years ago, I got them.
Okay.
Grown man.
He's a grown-ass man.
But, I've always fought with that. Because growing up, I always wanted a cool little arm tattoo. Mm-hmm. But, like I said, I didn't grow up with a mind of my own, I felt. I grew up thinking as my parents were thinking for me. First year in college, my college roommate offered me beer. And I didn't know. Yeah, I called my mom. I literally called my mom my freshman year in college and asked her, what do you think I should do? Because I was not capable of thinking for myself.
Right.
And all my mom had to say to me was, what do you think the right thing to do is? I didn't drink until I was 20. So I said no.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, I grew up, my dad, he would take me to baseball games and put my pacifier in his beer. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think anything of it. Now I know it was his way of getting me to shut up and go to sleep so he could watch the game. But I never really liked that. I was always kind of, because none of my friends in high school were religious. Mm. And so I was always kind of, I was always a designated driver. And if anybody ever asked, I was just like, no, I like watching drunk people. It's funny as hell. And it was, nobody could deny that, but it was always, hey, do you want a hit of this? Do you want to do that? And I'm like, no, I'm good. I've always been the sober one, because when I am drunk or when I am in that altered state, I always feel like, damn, if something happens, because I was always in the fire department.
Mm-hmm.
I joined the fire department as a junior member in high school, and it was just like, crap, now if there's something going on, I can't go on that call, or I can't do this,
Right.
can't do that. I never really got a taste for alcohol, and I have asthma, so I'm not really trying to inhale anything to my lungs. But
Yeah.
as far as being religious and not doing it for religious reasons, no, I never really did that. Everybody's scared of girls,
Still to this day.
to this day, and now I have a reason. No, so I just chalk that up to being inexperienced and young. But as far as that kind of stuff being based on religion, it wasn't based on religion because I didn't like the alcohol. Because I went to parties, I did all the same thing. I was just always sober.
Sure.
And to this day, if I drink one beer, I'm peeing 5. So what's the point?
Great to see you.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. So my upbringing has a lot to do with my makeup and who I am today. But over the last few years, I'm growing into a different person.
Okay.
If you would have talked to me about, and I hate to keep on bringing it up, but like gay people. If you would have talked to me about gay people,
you keep bringing it up. Why do you keep bringing gay people up?
Because it's such a hot topic.
I think it's in
when it comes to religion.
Oh, okay. It's a nice,
such a hot topic.
Right there with abortion.
Right. Oh gosh. So I'm not gonna go there. Let's keep it gay people.
Okay. Gay.
It's almost safer.
Yeah.
So if you would have asked me, 10 years ago, I would have probably told you it was an abomination, because that's what I was taught. That's what the church taught me. The church I was going to at the time. Nowadays, I'm thinking for myself. It's not my place.
Yeah.
It is not my place. If you want to love whoever you want to love, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have all the answers. I can't say if it's right or wrong. I can't say if it's right or wrong for anything in life.
Right.
So it's
just all you can say is it's not right for you or it's not wrong for you.
Sure.
So
it's not my choice.
You're right. Okay.
It's your choice. And
you said choice. Is it a choice?
Free will.
Free will. Well, you have free will, but
you have free will.
Can you did you have a conversation with yourself asking you if you liked women when you were?
I think ultimately, I can always choose to like a man. I mean, is it?
Why are you looking at me like that? Why are you looking at me like that?
I saw you looking deep in my eyes at the moment, and I was going to look back. I never back down on a stare.
Stop it! I swear. Scratch your eyes out.
And you touched my legs.
So. Okay.
Is it a choice?
See, this is the last time we do this in the car. Right?
What are we doing in the car? So I see where you're trying to go with this.
You still think it's a choice?
Is it a choice or is it your makeup? I think everything is a choice. I think some people are more wired to do one or to choose one thing over another.
Mm-hmm.
If one person is more wired if one man is more wired to love a man than a woman, then he will choose to love a man.
Okay.
I mean, that's how I feel about it. I don't
really have I can't say I don't have an opinion. The more I think about it, I think it's almost biological. If we have fish in the rivers that are changing them sexually,
mm-hmm.
then what's to say that, it's not a biological issue as far as gay or straight. But when it comes down to it, I don't care.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It doesn't, if someone wants to have a conversation, it's almost like they're trying to start something.
Sure.
And I'm just
like you just did.
Like I just
choice thing. Trying to get me set up. All my gay friends are gonna stop talking to me.
Well,
because I said choice.
Choice. No. I asked Stephanie if it was a choice, and she went off on a tangent. Well,
yeah.
Not off on a tangent. She went off on a
rant.
Why the fuck would I choose this if I'm gonna choose anything? She made some good points, but I'm gonna have her back on to clarify a few things. But yeah, I mean, there was a real good friend of mine was in my wedding, and he was in a, at the time, same religion, the gayest black man I've ever met.
Yeah.
He was in a glass closet. He was about as Liberace as you could get, but as long as he said he wasn't, then people had to accept what he said.
Right.
Everybody, he was the one that taught me what gold lame was.
I don't know what that is. I don't know if I want to know.
It's like a gold shiny fabric.
Oh, okay.
I was like, the hell are you doing? How do you know a gold lame? Well, that was him.
I still don't know anything besides basic colors.
The 3 basic colors.
Fuchsia and stuff. I don't know.
Well, he came out about 10 years ago, and of course his family disowned him.
Sure.
And they've still disowned him. I'm going to try and have him on here too, but I mean, you know, when it comes down to it, everybody knew he was gay.
Mm-hmm. Everybody, but
and whether he denied it, because I asked him 2 or 3 times, like, dude, are you sure? I mean, come on, because he had the feminine mannerisms,
right,
and everything, and
it was just easier.
It was easier for him at the time because of his family issues.
Sure.
And
which is unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but it's understandable at the same time. At the time, but it's when it comes down to it, I already knew he was in a glass closet. Everybody else knew. And it was just one of those, when it's time for him to accept, or to, even if he had accepted it, to come out, for lack of a better phrase. I hate that phrase. You know, that was on him.
But so not saying he's exactly like I am, but it's the upbringing that keeps you from making certain decisions on your own.
Yes.
And so a lot like that is with my current divorce situation, where I stayed married for so long because my family didn't believe in divorce, or, you know, it was, you have to stay together. You have to do it. You took a vow to God, and the whole 9. And it takes, you know, being able to think for yourself and saying, you know what, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do what I feel is right.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to, for some people to be able to come out, for me and myself to make the decision that, you know what, I am going to get this divorce. So yeah, I mean, I totally understand gay people that stay in the closet for so long, because it's sometimes it's just easier. Yeah. It was easier for me to stay married just because, you know, of all the people that I was afraid to hurt.
Right.
And you know, people get over it.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to go back to the word choice.
Okay.
And I have to, because I'm defending myself at this point.
No, I will.
Because no, I mean, the only reason I say that is because choice is a word that will set a lot of people off.
Right.
And for me, everybody has a choice. People choose to be gay as much as I choose to be straight.
That's fine.
So,
am I the only guy that will admit that I like having my ass? Am I the only straight guy that will admit that I like having my ass tickled?
No, but
okay.
You know, I'm on the radio. We'll talk later about that. Tickler. Okay, so
Hello.
So that came off wrong. So
I wasn't trying to get you.
You know what?
I wasn't.
I love my gay people. Still be my friend.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm coming into my own.
He's exploring his own sexuality, folks.
Well, no.
Okay.
I know where I'm at.
Okay.
I choose to be straight.
You choose. Okay.
I choose.
You chose to be.
But anyway, so yeah, so the whole thing, you know, I love people. I don't gay, straight. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I love people. You know, everybody's got their own thing. Everybody's got, you know, their own lives that they live, and everybody makes their own decisions that they'll have to live with.
Mm-hmm.
I have to live with my decisions. You have to live with your decisions. Whether you think it's right or wrong, whether I think it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter, because I need to worry about me, and, you know, my life, and my kids, you know, and the people.
Don't have enough time to boss people around.
It's not my place.
Yeah,
it is not my place. So.
All right.
I love my gay people.
Well,
am I going over my time?
Well, it's up to you, man. If you want to keep going, we can keep going.
The other option is going. Wait, I can't say that on the radio. Going back to work.
Well, yeah, you could say it. The other option is going back into work.
Yeah, well, I'm not charging for this time.
You still...
I'm sorry. I got here early today for this specific reason.
Oh, did you? See, I got in late. I got in at 9.
Oh, so. I got in early.
All right.
So, yeah. Well,
thank you for your time. Thank you for your input.
Yay.
And
I would love to do this again. This is a lot of fun.
All right. We'll definitely do this again. Thank you, sir.
All right.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was a friend and coworker of mine, Nate. He is doing well. We will definitely have him back on. He had a good time. We both had a good time. So Let me know what you think. Hit us up on Twitter at PigPaws. And if you don't have Twitter or if that's not your thing, go ahead and send us an email, pigpaws@pigpaws.com. Let us know what you think, good or bad. And let us know also what you think we can do to improve things, different points of view you'd like to see on here. And we'll talk to you later. You take care. Bye.